Regent's Park.
You're not a drama.
A rapist was sauntering around the park. You're doing fundraisers.
You know what I think was? As soon as I found out, within less than 12 hours, I'll tell you the exact.
Okay.
I can't remember the precise days of the early. Anyway, I'll tell you the precise order of events. I discovered that story via the Channel 4 story. Who also picked up on this story.
I'm not a Jeremy Corbyn fan, so I knew you were going to come in that one.
He put out anti-government tweets in
it.
response to that. So basically, my first insight was
Happy Sharkmas. Happy Sharkmas.
It's a very quite an emotional issue, which is why I reacted in the way that I initially reacted.
Now,
if
the other side,
Hello, uncle, how you doing, mate? You good?
Muslims of this park, if the Muslims of this park had done a fundraiser,
it's a government.
You're coming here making a point. You're completely ignoring 90% of the story.
All right.
They're going to make a compulsory in 2020.
Yeah. Oh, to do what?
I'm aware of the
For
conclusion.
children
I
who sing us
was
for.
aware of the conclusion.
They're going to teach
Oh, you want to
them all kind
concentrate
of
on that
stuff.
10%?
Oh, that's crazy.
Honestly, it's insane. The
Why
thing
did
they teach
they
them.
Why do they need to know that age?
I think everybody, all families are involved in this, not just Muslims.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either.
Please, so
Yeah.
if you call your community, just let them
4 years old?
4 upward.
Oh, then man.
Yeah, honestly. So, Raj, please.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely. Yeah, we can maybe talk. Let me research this,
Yes, please.
and then maybe next week we can talk about it.
And spread it to your community as
Yeah.
well.
No. I don't. This is not a Muslim issue. This is a moral issue.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, I don't want 4-year-olds or 5-year-olds or 6.
Honestly.
I think like 10 years old is even young.
Exactly.
Maybe 12, 13.
In the world,
And the issue is that they're going to take
because
usually
Channel
we have
4
parents have the
is
right to take their
outside
children
of
out of
this.
such, let's say.
No, you're trying to make you're trying to make a story out of a nonsense.
It's going to be compulsory.
Is that already been put into
As
law?
soon as I know,
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's not
and I
being
made
implemented.
sure that
Alright, so it can be stopped.
what please other side?
That's why the petition is to collect as many signatures so that they can discuss it
You're
in the
making a
park.
point.
Alright, we can discuss it here next week. Let me research.
I thought you came over here with a
You're
camera.
fundraising for a British Army terrorist.
He's not a terrorist, he was a member of the army, you silly man. You think every member of the British military is a terrorist. That is your argument. He was not a terrorist any more than Paddy Ashdown was a terrorist. Any more than any other member of the British military are terrorists. You are an IRA supporting Irishman who hate this country to the core, and you think every element of the British state are terrorists. That is your standing
You've done a
point.
fundraiser
That is
for
not
one
my
of these
business.
terrorists
As soon as I realised
attempted to rape an 80-year-old
as soon as I
woman.
realised that, I made
And the
sure
point is-
he didn't get a
the
penny.
point- the
So
point
your
is-
point
The point is, Steve,
I did not
Muslims
raise
in
a
this
terrorist.
park.
He's not a terrorist.
If Muslims had done that, you would be harking
And
on
as
about it
soon as I
non-stop.
found out, I changed, as
It's
you
not good
fucking
enough.
know. How is that not good enough? So you should do something about something you don't know about. The fact that the second I found out about it, I made sure that man didn't get a penny. You're still going to come and make your silly point to camera. What's
The
that
point
all
is,
about?
if the Muslim side had done it, you will be
The
getting on your high
Muslim
horse.
side, why do you keep harping?
Because you're the one who
What's
created
this
division.
got to do about
You're the one who-
Islam?
Because the point is, the
Got
same,
nothing to do
the
with
same,
Islam.
the same with
You're
the
trying
violence
to
in the park.
twist the
The same with the
narrative
violence
to
in
some
the park.
other silly
If it's
story.
one side doing it, you're on them. Whereas when
And
you're
soon
doing
as I
it,
found out, I stopped what I was doing and I re-diverted the money to a charity, as you know full
what's the
well.
charity? What's the charity you've rediverted to?
Homes for Heroes. UK Homes for Heroes. You're going to nitpick on that now,
Heroes like that guy, yeah?
You think every aspect of the British state are murderous terrorist killers.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
But you don't. But no one shares that opinion with you because you're an IRA supporting Ulster.
Does it matter?
So can I ask you a question?
You
No.
hate Britain to the core,
No,
and you think every single
Steve,
serving
Steve,
military man in
yes,
the
I do.
army,
Yes, I do.
the navy,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Royal Air Force are all terrorists.
But Steve, I've
How
said
can
yes
you
to
have a
that.
dialogue with
Obviously,
you on that?
Why are you going over that point? I've said
Because
yes,
you
I do.
keep saying I'm funding a terrorist. What bollocks?
A man
What
who
meaningless
attempted to
bollocks?
rape a woman
He was
in her
a
80s.
terrorist, you just said.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well.
That's bollocks.
No, it's not
That's
bollocks.
meaningless
It's not bollocks. It's not bollocks.
That's meaning politically directed Irish.
Well done. Look at that Christmas spirit.
Yes, it is. Because
look at
clearly,
that.
not every member of the British military is a terrorist. No members largely
Look at Rizzo, man.
of the members of the
Look at that.
British
How would you
military.
describe?
That's what we like to
How
see.
would you describe the actions of this man?
So you're
Do
trying
you not
to
think that
Look at that
man
shot.
was
So
terrorised?
are you talking about his
That shot
arm?
going
You
on.
don't think that woman was terrorised?
Desperate, man.
No, but in all seriousness.
Turn to the camera so they can see your grin and your wink.
Steve, the point is, I accept it.
The point is you're trying to score points.
I hear the conclusion. There is, because if the Muslims, if a Muslim in this park had done it, you
As soon as I found out that he was on the sex offenders register for the attempted rape of an 87-year-old woman, as soon as I corroborated that, I instantly changed what I was doing.
The moral of the story is be more careful you fundraise for in the future.
And what point's that?
Well, it's just
I will proudly support veterans that fought in my country's military services. I will proudly do that to the day I die.
I have no doubt.
Because that was.
I can ask you. Can I ask you?
Standing in Britain, where you've lived most of your life, and I still do not understand how a man can live most of a life in a country that he hates to the core.
You bring it up
You hate Britain to the core. You think all of our state services, our secret services, our military services, our police.
We've established that.
He doesn't. He won't even talk to the police.
I don't deny that.
He's like some of the numpties in gang. We don't do ops with the feds. It's like fucking nonsense.
That's an honourable line to take.
It's an honourable line to take.
Honourable
So
line to
when
take.
your mother, sister, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever is raped, who will you be on the phone
the
to?
sort of people you'll
Who will you
fundraise.
be on the
Certainly
phone
not you.
to?
You probably do a
When your
fundraising
house
for 'em.
is robbed, when your car is stolen, who will you report those crimes to?
I haven't had to.
And when they do, what will you report them to?
I wouldn't have report them.
You wouldn't report them to the police?
No, sexual crime, yeah. But
Oh right, so okay, so someone in your family, someone who you love dearly, is raped, you would report them to the police, even though they're terrorists and they're murderers and
that's the protocol.
they're the enemy.
I've no choice.
That's the protocol.
Well, anyway,
Inconsistency.
as I said, Steve, I accepted the conclusion before we even got into this debate.
Clearly, you made that
my
self-evident,
point was,
even though you knew all the moments, all the aspects of the story.
I saw the nice photograph of him. I'm saying.
Which I deleted the second
Yeah, I
I
bet
found
you did.
out.
I bet you did.
Yeah,
Trying to cover it up.
But on this point, because I will be honest, which is more than you're being, and you're more than you are ever. You couldn't even give me your real name the first time we had dialogue. We went over to McDonald's and he gave me a false name.
I still don't know what your name is though.
Why do you need to do
Why would I
that?
give you my real name?
Why would you not?
Because I don't trust you.
Why did you want to go to
I don't-
fucking
I don't-
McDonald's with me?
I
then?
don't trust.
Why did you want to go to McDonald's with me?
You
don't trust sharing. You don't want to.
No, Steve, because you're facilitation of fascism.
Another bollocks line. So come on, let's move on to that subject.
No. My discussion is.
Do you want to call my mother now? Whoever said
fundraising
that.
for a rapist. That's my discussion.
And as you know,
You're
I'm
off.
not.
Anyway, take care, man. We'll get in contact with you, man. We'll get in contact with you. Take care. Yeah, take my number down. Actually, we got Steve's number.
Who then found out the truth and immediately changed? Why would I have to do that?
I don't want to say it too loud here.
You've got a pathological
Let me type it in.
Not at all.
the home of your entire life.
I've got no obsession.
Ring it.
Pathological obsession.
He's Irish.
Yeah,
Pat
You were screaming at Muslims praying just an hour ago.
Ring it and then I'll save it.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, just down the road.
I can't.
You perform for the camera as much
I don't
as
go
any
on the
other.
camera.
Ah, because of that.
Why did you arrive with a floodlight, a microphone boom?
Oh, yesterday, yeah. I went mad. Just a bit of fun, man.
No, we didn't. Steve, I'm off, man. You came out with meaningless words. You said, I told him. Yeah, it's much more interesting. No, let's talk about it now. And it's your point.
Everybody left. I come here, everybody leaves. Fuck. Everybody just left.
Did you want to talk, Pat, while you're here? Do you want to have a chat about the UK and basically your stance on? Because I don't totally disagree with you in terms of your grievances.
You're going to ask me to stop condemning stuff, Raj?
No, I'm not going to ask. It's just going to be more of a productive conversation. No, if you come over here, man, dude. Get the thing.
We're doing your thing.
No, because you got. I was going to do it on here. COE. Come on, you can go on the side, man.
No, Raj, because you're going to ask me to condemn.
I swear, no, I'm not going to ask you. I promise you. You can see it now. I'm a man of my word. I'm not. Yeah, it's going to be productive. It's not me confronting you. I want to speak to you and actually have a conversation. Now, one of the things is obviously means you kind of fell out on, or let's just say we got on the wrong foot. I don't really have an issue with you per se, because I can kind of understand when I've your website, Crimes of Britain, and you're from Ireland, and obviously Ireland has suffered a lot from colonialism and the barbarity of the UK over the centuries, and I'm not going to deny that. The same with India, and the same with a lot of countries around the world. And I can understand your grievances the same way I have grievances with the UK policy, especially of the past and stuff, and I condemn that. But the only thing I have an issue with yourself was that when you came to the park originally, I just didn't feel you was honest about who you was.
As I said originally, my interest in the park was to do with the facilitation of bigots, fascists and racists into this park.
All right.
Which I have then put forward to you that some of them come to act as muscle/personal security with you.
All right, so the thing is, a lot of the people that come here, that came on that particular day, I didn't know. Well, obviously, I know the head people.
Well, let's talk about head people.
No, I don't want to talk about individuals.
But okay, I'm talking about the head people.
No, can I say something? The reason being is because I want to talk more about your kind of position as to why you're so anti-UK, and I don't want to condemn you for that. I'd rather understand you, because one of the things that when I spoke to you, you're probably you're Irish Republican, and one of the things is that you're one of those kind of rare breeds that is against Michael Collins, against Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness. So you don't really agree with any of the kind of agreements that they come up with, which is quite a strong viewpoint for because I haven't really met many Irish people that think like you. They either agree with the peace agreement or they're not 100% with it, but you're totally condemned the peace agreement, do you?
Well, I don't acknowledge it as a peace agreement, number one. I could have no time.
Do you think it's a? Do you say it's a
peace agreement?
Surrender agreement? Surrender.
All right. So you're probably in the same situation because we've got more in common. That I do see the partition of India, and the way my place called the Punjab was split in half, and then half of it's now in Pakistan, half of it's over there, and 1 million people had to cross back and forth, and I mean millions of people. And they a lot of people died in that particular process. So for me, you know, when I speak to an Irish person, I understand, you know, there's so many atrocities that have happened to the Irish throughout the century. But the only thing I kind of find kind of difficult to understand is your such a hardline stance about any kind of peace process.
No, I'm not opposed to peace. I'm opposed to agreements under the guise of peace.
So what is your issue with the agreement that's
ultimately, the decision people in the North of Ireland were given was vote for war or vote for peace. That's not a fair one. That's not fair. You're literally putting a gun to someone's head and saying, if you don't vote for this, you're going to have the might of the British Army come in and wage war on an even bigger scale than before. So,
but what do you do with the people that are in Northern Ireland?
Your average person is going to obviously go with that.
All right. So So you have a situation where you have people in Northern Ireland. Now you probably don't consider Irish. They're probably from the UK,
no, they certainly,
from Scotland,
from
Wales.
They certainly would. They can be Irish.
All right. Cool.
They happen to identify as British. Their position in Ireland.
Can they be British and Irish?
No, because their position is reliant on a foreign power that's usurping Irish sovereignty. So if you are going into another nation, occupying land, that land's occupied, and you are reliant on a foreign power to sustain your position there, again, that is a problem, wherever it is.
I agree with you that the situation in, say, like Israel and Palestine is a terrible situation, because the way Israel was kind of brought into place was done on a very faulty premise. I can agree with that, but it's there now. It's a similar situation with Northern Ireland, and the Sikhs have a similar situation with Punjab, where we want a separate state from India. But I've got to the point, like, I think a lot of people, like, have got to, is that, you know, you get to a point, I think, say with Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness and that they start to realise that there's only so much you can do through fighting, and ultimately, the only people that are going to lose are going to be the people that are there.
Ultimately, Roger, it comes down to what's right and wrong.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, in reality, what's right and wrong doesn't necessarily always come to fruition.
As a principle stand,
stand, should there be United Ireland with no Britain in it? Definitely. But what I just say,
I understand you're coming from realism.
Yeah. So the same with. So let me give you. So just so you understand how much I do empathise with you. In India, we have the Punjab. Punjab was split in half by the British. They just literally cut it in half, not thinking about We got religious sites over there, Sikhs over there, Hindus over there. So millions of people died in the process. On top of that, when we got Punjab, it was then cut again in 3 pieces. And India, because I don't support India the same way you don't support the UK, and they persecuted the Sikhs for the last 30, 40 years. But even though I'm pro having a separate homeland, I've got to the point that I know it's not going to happen because they would rather let Punjab burn than to let it go. And the same situation with like Northern London, they can't let it go.
Well, potentially in the future, I think it is a reality. I don't think it's possible. I don't know enough about how
without bloodshed.
You've done a great little job.
Well, that would be for the British. I mean,
You've done a great little job with his life.
Yeah, pound shop, innit? You can't go wrong.
There will be no bloodshed.
Yes, who is that?
But I mean, in order for something like that to come about, well, there would have to be some sort of, kind of like, let's say, militaristic kind of.
Well, that's national liberation. You know, there is, sadly, likely going to be bloodshed when it's national liberation. But again, it's what's right and wrong. And the right is, the Irish are right, their country's occupied. The occupier is wrong. And that's the point. So, again, I understand your realism. I think what you vision as a united Ireland is a reality. What I vision as an island is probably going to happen because I have a different system on there. But in the idea of a reunified island, I think that is quite likely.
Do you not think they've got to a good point now? We've got open borders.
I think ultimately, in people's hearts, generally, not just Irish Republicans, but across the situation, people want to see a country reunified. And I think that is going to happen. As for the loyalist Ulster population, I mean, discussions have happened in the past, discussions can happen in the future. Nothing is set in stone. I mean, the reality, I think they will be realistic themselves.
All right, so I'm not trying to entrap you or anything, so I'm saying that first hand. I'm not trying to entrap you. But one of the things I find, one of the things I find kind of problematic is that. I understand during Northern Ireland's kind of civil unrest and the freedoms that the Irish people are trying to get. Prior to the Michael Collins era, I support that particular IRA that was trying to get liberation for Ireland.
Why did you support that one?
Because I feel that they achieved what they achieved as much as they could with what they had, and it comes to a point that you got Ireland, you freed most of Ireland, and there was a little enclave where there were still people that were pro-British that were living there. I don't agree with the IRA that came out after that. That was then going around bombing and.
So what do you think the IRA of 1916 to 22 is?
Well, from my understanding, Michael Collins was the head of it. He got but he did achieve, maybe to you.
I'm saying, do you not think the actions of the IRA from 1916 onwards were violent?
So can I just say that I'm not a pacifist?
I know, but I'm saying, the violence of the IRA, as you see it in 1916 or 1921 or 22 or the 1930s even. They were violent the same way the IRA was violent.
Well, the thing is, at that particular time, from my understanding, sorry if I got this wrong, but the UK had complete sovereignty over Ireland.
Britain,
yeah. So Britain was in complete control of the whole of Ireland. Yeah. There was no sovereignty, there was no such thing as an independent island. And so I believe that Michael Collins, I'm not going to say you're going to agree with that, but he achieved as much as he could by creating a united island.
But no, because the state that Michael Collins brought to fruition was not the Irish Republic.
Oh, just before we go, Michael Collins was actually I put him a freedom fighter of the Irish Republican Army prior to 1922. So he was executed for some Irish people for like he betrayed the cause.
Well, he did. Ultimately, if we look at the facts, Michael Collins pledged allegiance to the King of England. He pledged allegiance to the British Empire. Now, that is an act of treachery.
But did he attain a sovereign island?
No, it wasn't sovereign. That was the state he attained was known as the Irish Free State, which was a state within the British Empire.
So what is the difference from the island that we have?
Reason, Raj, got you working through. Is it crazy?
What is the island that we have now?
I would say it's the same island.
Where's your high-vis? Get your high-vis on.
Come on, no, I've got you. I've got one here called Donkey over there.
Island itself still pledging allegiance to
That was a British Mark.
That was a British county over there. That was a British both Parliament buildings in those countries, north and south, are products of the British Empire.
Yeah, I understand that, but
So I'm not going to endorse those.
yeah, but I'm saying that
I love it.
the same way in India, we don't get buildings, we don't get parliamentary buildings that are still remnants of the British. It doesn't mean that you can't use those structures if they were.
They're not remains. They are ultimately controlled by the British, financed by the British, and dominated
That's
by the
different.
British.
That's different.
So it's not a
How
case
can you
of-
prove that though? Because I mean,
Well, if we start with Stormont is funded by Westminster. It's no secret.
Stormont's in Northern Ireland though.
In the North Ireland, yeah. It's funded by
Yeah,
Westminster.
but that's Northern Ireland. I'm talking about
in the Free State, Leinster House was created by a British Act of Parliament. It's also known as the Door.
After
What you would see as independence. After the creation of the Irish Free State, this Parliament was created by a British Act of Parliament. So the idea that an Irish Parliament created by a British Act of Parliament is in any way sovereign or free is nonsense. Furthermore, the political parties entered that building, all worked against and continue to work against the Irish Republic proclaimed in 1916. So it's a usurping body. It's also a partitionist parliament. So Irish Republicans reject the border imposed by Britain. These parliaments are partitionist in nature. They are there to ensure that the Acts of War errors, which Irish people democratically voted for and endorsed in 1918, and Britain went against democracy, and it's the 100 years anniversary now, it usurps that very structure. So that is why Irish Republicans have an issue with it, would not recognise it and see it as illegitimate, because ultimately it usurped what we saw as our legitimate parliament, which was voted for democratically by the majority of Irish people.
So what I understand, like I said to you, I empathise with the plight.
Yeah.
I empathise with the Palestinians, but I'm also empathising with my own people who's much more but I'm also a realist. Yeah. I want to know, like, without, like, I don't believe that, you know, obviously you have your own views. I mean, what is your ultimate goal with Ireland in its whole, and what would you do with the people from Northern Ireland that are still pro-British?
Yeah. So I would want Britain completely out of Ireland. That means British structures out of Ireland, from the military to the civil service to the police force. I would like a complete restructuring of Ireland, a new Ireland, 32 county Ireland. As for the loyalist unionist population, as I said earlier, negotiations will obviously have to be had against realism. You know, no one's propagating the idea that they should just be booted into the sea or murdered. Some people genuinely think that is the case.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not the case. And Irish Republicanism has got a mandate and has been open and still open to negotiations.
Are you working for Roger? You're going to work for me, man.
They're in Ireland. They might not see themselves as Irish, but they are Irish.
You know, I'm going to get some kind of holder.
So but do you see people that are part of
What's the stop charging, man?
And the microphone.
Any Irish person who goes to British Army.
4 more months, so I can tell.
what if they're born in the proper
Well, if they pledge their allegiance to Britain, then I suppose, technically speaking, they wouldn't. It's where your allegiance.
I mean, where would you
Yeah, they
no, but see from your
kind of come from term.
So yeah, I mean, I heard this a lot, not just from yourself, but also from different groups.
About treachery.
No, in terms of being anti-UK and anti-establishment, and I kind of understand that, but when it becomes like what I see, I don't want to put words in your mouth, or this is me just thinking from your website, go to Times of Britain, prepare yourself though, there's a lot of atrocities.
Well, they're not made up, Raj, they're facts.
They're not made up, they're not made up, and I agree with you, there's a lot of atrocities on there. But the thing is that when I come out of that, I was kind of like in the mindset, I knew it was you made it, but I thought to myself, whoever made that website really hates the UK.
Hate is a strong word. I think the British Empire has to be looked at factually and not romanticised.
No, I don't romanticize it.
Furthermore,
Take off the lens and
what I
see
see
Raj
as the
who he is, man.
continuation of the British Empire, which is British foreign policy.
See, I know, Raj Junior,
I
man.
see that as well as something that society
Changes every week.
because I believe it is rooted in the empty empire. So someone has to own it. It needs to be documented. There needs to be factual information. Does it come down to hate? At the end of the day, yes, I do hate British foreign policy, and I do hate the British Empire. And
So what do you think about every country has to have a standing army? Yeah. So what do you expect the UK to do?
Well,
when you're condemning British soldiers, they are British. And the same way an Irish person should be able to fight for their country.
Well,
can a British person not be able to fight for their country without being called criminal?
Well, no, not really, because every conflict, or you could say almost every conflict, the British Armed Forces have been involved in.
Ignore that.
Bob the Builder.
Yeah. So I would say almost every single conflict the British Army has been involved in has been a criminal enterprise.
Let it go by.
You need to pay.
Let me research a bit, and let me get some more information about how Ireland. There's certain things you've said to me that I didn't really know that I need to research.
We can talk about perhaps colonialism entirely across the British Empire.
Oh, thanks, yeah. So one of the things you said to me when you first met me was like, you're traced to Autumn Singer Bhagat Singh. And obviously, big up Autumn Singer Bhagat Singh.
See, now this is where we get into it, right? The British, Autumn Singh as a terrorist.
Yeah, but I don't. And I've said it.
And certainly those that are of Britich military background, of DFA background, would certainly and most certainly.
I've told them. I've even said to you.
So when Autumn Singh was down Caxton Hall and he walked in and he avenged the Jallianwala massacre.
General Dyer. I don't agree.
Was that a legitimate, justified action?
I don't agree with murder, but I can understand why he did it.
You see him as a freedom fighter?
I do see him as a freedom.
As a hero?
Yeah, of course he's a hero.
There you go. Likewise, you've got your hero.
But this is why I said to you, I don't see the Irish Republican Army in its original heyday as anything apart from a freedom fighting movement. You understand? I don't.
You said that before.
I've said it. I don't see that when I say IRA, I've separated into two. And even
I don't separate into two.
But this is the difference. Like, I'm kind of like, all right, this is the IRA that I think was a true freedom fighter, and I was pre-1922 or 1921. And then you have the IRA of today, which I can understand their plight. Don't get me wrong, and I don't want to say I support them, but I can understand why they are so frustrated and angry. But the same way that I don't condone my own Sikh people or brothers, Bindrawala, although big up Bindrawala, people would say, look, so what it is one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist, and so I know the nuances of, when I say big up Bindrawala, other people, even within the Sikh faith, called him a terrorist, and other people love the man like I do. So I understand, this is why I do empathise with what you are, but the only reason we fell out wasn't because I disagreed with you.
Our falling out, Raj, was because of the fascist facilitation.
All right.
All
right, so we can talk more about that next time, because
that's our disagreement.
The thing is, I don't want to, I'm almost like got Tourette's. I want to say something.
No, listen.
And I don't want it to go on a bad note.
That's our disagreement. That's our initial. Our disagreement's not even about history.
So let's keep it, like what I'm trying to do with individuals now is to try and keep things onto a...
no Tourette's,
yes, I'm like about to say something. I was about to ask you a question, but I know it's going to be too controversial.
Oh, friends today. That's good.
So what it is, what I want to do is to, with certain individuals that I know, if I talk about a particular topic, it will go left.
Right.
So what we can do is to talk about stuff that we do slightly agree on, but have different takes on. So one of the things is obviously about Irish nationalism.
We're doing one on the British Empire.
The British Empire, how it's affected,
India
and Ireland. Because we know that some Sikhs did actually support even who was it?
Autumn Singh met the IRA in London. Autumn Singh met the IRA in London.
I know. Big up Autumn Singh. So
you're big enough a man who met the IRA in London, and at that time the IRA were blowing up London.
Hold on, but the IRA, even in that time period, I can still understand.
Alright, right, in 20 years on now. This is 1939, 1940.
No, but I'm talking about the IRA of the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
I still see them as slightly different from the IRA of that particular time, because the colonialism was so strong then that even though the oath of the British was, let's say, officially gone, I can imagine it still having a stranglehold over Ireland.
Well, of course, in the 70s, 80s and 90s, the British waged a war in the North of Ireland. War.
Well, we can talk about that as well. We can go on to your viewpoint of how you saw it. Because obviously, as someone from the UK, I've got a skewed version of what that particular, civil unrest was about, that particular war. So we'll carry this on, and Oh, let me do a fist.
You do fist bumps. Oh, yeah. You almost did a handshake.
Do you know what, Tourette's? I was about to ask you a question that would have blown up, yeah? No, let me say that again. Not blown up, yeah. But literally, I was going to say so.
Listen, I know you're going to ask me.
Yeah.
I know you're going to ask me.
It was about Seeker Spooner.
Yeah, I know it's about.
It's about Seeker Spooner. So I didn't answer it. So just because I don't want it to go their way with. Anyway, man, take care, man.
Yeah, nice speaking.
Anyway, happy Shadowcross, everyone. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks for holding it, bro.
Don't build no snowman, Raj.
Yeah,